Food and Beverage Restaurant Management Checklist 2021. The ultimate solution to all your management problems. Merely starting a restaurant will not ensure that you will have a booming restaurant business. Almost 60% of the restaurants close within the first year of operations because the owners do not understand how to manage them effectively. The fact that nearly every operation of a restaurant runs side by side and needs to be handled not just by individually but also as synchronized units also do not help the cause. Hence, you need to develop a system through which you can take care of daily operations and ensure the smooth functioning of long-term operations. Our solution to this is creating a restaurant management checklist and adhering to it. Understanding a daily restaurant management checklist. Some functions need to be performed daily in a restaurant. This will keep your restaurant on track and always ready to deliver the best services to all your customers. The list must be checked off, which will indicate that the work has been done, and the manager should then review them to ensure proper operations. Here is the detailed checklist for managing daily restaurant operations. Number 1. Restaurant Management Checklist. Manager's duties. A manager plays a vital role in maintaining a restaurant. The manager must be present when the restaurant opens and closes, since he or she is responsible for all activities that happen in the restaurant. Thus, a manager's daily checklist is one of the most crucial parts of restaurant management checklist. The checklist regarding the daily duties of the manager contains 3 sections. They are manager's opening checklist. The manager who opens the restaurant is responsible for unlocking the cash register and adding the first cash. He should also check the reservations made by the customer for the day and reply to all emails that the restaurant has received. Checking inventory is another significant activity that the manager must perform. A manager must coordinate with the executive chef to know about the available stock and whether it would suffice for the entire day. Similarly, the same thing must be done with the bartender as well. According to the previous day's sales report, the manager must also project the sales of the particular day. In addition to this, a manager should always check the restrooms personally before opening the restaurant. Shift change checklist. During the shift change of the manager, the previous manager should complete all his tasks so that the next manager can take up the operations of the restaurant and his duties as mentioned in the restaurant management checklist smoothly. The first manager should also deliver all the necessary information to the next manager. For example, if there is any reservation of 10 plus heads in the restaurant later in the day, the kitchen ran out of a particular item, a specific staff member has resigned suddenly, or not on the floor, etc. Delivering all this information will help the next manager in line to make appropriate decisions that will ensure that the restaurant runs smoothly during the rush hours of the day. Manager's closing checklist. Next on the restaurant checklist for the manager's duties are the closing tasks. Just as managers have to perform specific duties at the start of the day, they have some similar duties that they must perform at the end of the day as well. These duties precisely include counting the register, looking at the detailed sales report at the end of the day, counting tips and allocating them appropriately. Before closing, the manager must confirm the amount of stock used and the stock available from the executive chef and the bartender to deduce if the available stock is sufficient or not. Number 2. Restaurant management checklist. For side work, certain tasks need to be performed by the restaurant staff when the restaurant is in the slow hours of the day or when the restaurant is closed after lunch and is prepping up for the evening shift. At these hours, managers may assign some duties to idle staff members both at the back and at the front of the restaurant. These tasks must be put on the daily checklist to make sure that they are not missed. This includes the restaurant management checklist for front of the house operations. The idle staff is generally asked to check if any of the tablecloths are spoiled. If yes, then they replace them. They fold the napkins, clean the cutlery, arrange the tables per table, arrangement technique, place fresh flowers in the table vase if your restaurant provides one, checks if there is a menu on all tables, and the like. Restaurant management checklist for back-end operations. During hours, there is generally not much to do. This is a great time to refill all the stations, sharpen knives, organize storage rooms and fridges, check the temperature of the refrigerators, refill spices, and and check the inventory critical food items and inform appropriate people about them. Number 3. Restaurant management checklist. Kitchen and cleaning staff. The kitchen is not merely a place where food comes out. It needs to be arranged accordingly to ensure that the kitchen operations are on point. You need to create a daily checklist for your kitchen staff as well. This checklist will be a part of your restaurant management checklist but will deal with tasks exclusive to your kitchen staff. This checklist will have 2 parts. The first dealing with kitchen prep work and the other with kitchen cleaning. First is kitchen prep work checklist. Various types of sauces go into making the dishes, and these sauces must be made in advance. Vegetables need to be cleaned, at times also chopped. Broth needs to be prepared in advance. The fish or the meat needs to be broken down or put in the marination. Considering the pressure that goes into preparing the kitchen for the day, many restaurants employ staff members who come early to ensure that the kitchen is ready for the hours ahead. Prep work is essentially important since the preparations are not done in time. It will slow down all the operations of your kitchen and increase the generation of kitchen waste. Kitchen waste generation is not something that you should take lightly. To understand the seriousness of the issue and why it must not be ignored, read why ignoring kitchen waste management in your restaurant can be your biggest mistake. Thus, you must make this daily checklist as comprehensive as possible and keep updating it as per the changes in the menu of your restaurant. Cleaning checklist. The kitchen needs to be cleaned at regular intervals, not only to maintain hygiene but also to make the kitchen tables look less confusing. Cleaning of the kitchen includes cleaning every station, putting the extra food away, organizing the walk-in, keeping the knives and other utensils in the right place, wiping the stations and chopping in the area. Every staff member in the kitchen must be responsible for keeping the kitchen clean. The idea that whenever they are done working in a particular station, they should leave it clean enough to be immediately used by someone else that must be instilled in them. 4. Restaurant management checklist. Servers checklist. Considering that your servers will be the face of your kitchen, how can you possibly not make a checklist for them as well? Just like the managers, you should make 3 different checklists for the servers, which will help them to perform better. This checklist includes servers opening checklist. The first thing on your service daily restaurant management checklist should be to check with a vigilant eye that everything is right in place before restaurant opens. They should check that the floor is clean and dry. The tables are clean with crisp tablecloths and napkins are in place. If your restaurant is a fine dine, one dish becomes all the more important. Server shift change checklist. This is especially important if your restaurant has more than one shift. In such a scenario, it becomes necessary to ensure that your restaurant checklist includes all tasks in which servers that are leaving should perform so that the incoming servers can start with ease. The outgoing servers must also inform the incoming servers about the important happenings at the restaurant. For example, if a restaurant has run out of a particular dish, it should be delivered to the incoming servers so that he can inform the customers who ordered some dish. The incoming servers must also check if anything is missing on the front end of the restaurant before the restaurant opens up for the next shift. Next is servers closing checklist. The servers daily closing checklist will make sure that everything is set for the following day, and the day servers won't have too many tasks before they open the restaurant. Make sure that your servers tick off each item on the checklist as they go through, is it so that they don't miss anything. Also, leave a space where evening servers can add a note for those openings so that if there is information they need to pass on, they can communicate it. 5. Restaurant management checklist. A bartender's duties. Managing a bar is a part of how to manage a restaurant question. Hence, if you have a bar, then you must have a checklist of the bar activities. The checklist should include the total sales, the number of bottles taken out from the stock, if any bottle was broken, the stock available for the next day. Since the internal theft in the bar is the most, the bar daily management checklist should be so comprehensive that all misappropriation with the liquor bottles can be easily traced. A proper checklist will help you control liquor costs to a great extent. 6. Marketing checklist for daily restaurant management. Considering that marketing is a very integral part of the restaurant operations, that plays a major role in forging the future of your restaurant, you must create a checklist for the in-house marketing officials as well. These officials need to monitor what is being said about your restaurant on social media. They must check the reviews your customers leave on these platforms and respond immediately. You must inform your officials to be grateful to the ones who praise your restaurant and apologize to the ones who did not have such a good experience. Since making your presence felt on the social media pages is important, these officials must religiously post photos and videos of your dishes and restaurant. That's all, and thank you. Food and Beverage Restaurant Management Checklist 2021. The ultimate solution to all your management problems. We're restarting our restaurant. In this part, we're going to show you the restaurant manager opening checklist that has to be done. This is a full walk of restaurant inside and out. A manager plays a vital role in maintaining a restaurant. The manager must be present when the restaurant opens and closes since he is responsible for all activities that happen in the restaurant. Thus, a manager's daily checklist is one of the most crucial parts of a restaurant management checklist. This shows a manager checking air conditioning, heat, or for temperature. In this scene, the manager posts a prep list for the kitchen staff with the starting procedures for the staff once they start working. Checking seating arrangement done is required for all restaurant bars. All menu and bill folders should be clean as well for the safety of our customers and guests. Checking all the cleanliness for all cutlery and crockery. Also check the floor is well cleaned and polished.
Go.
Also make sure that all supplies are stocked in the inventory.
Okay, sarado mo na pre. Go.
Check all lights and electrical points operational. Allocating the other staff to their respective areas. Check for trash, debris, broken glass, and windows. Check with the chef on duty if there's any. Ensure that the POS system is on and working properly.
Sarado ka pre.
Next on the restaurant checklist for the manager's duties are the closing tasks. Just as managers have to perform specific duties at the start of the day, they have some similar duties that they must perform at the end of the day as well. These duties precisely include counting the register, looking at the detailed sales report at the end of the day, counting tips and allocating them appropriately. Before closing, the manager must confirm the amount of stock used and the stock available from the executive chef and the bartender to deduce if the available stock is sufficient or not. And during the shift change of the manager, the first manager should also deliver all the necessary information to the next manager. Upon leaving, double check all doors and windows to make sure that the building is locked and secured properly.